Hello and welcome to the last process of integration management knowledge area, which is close project or phase. So as you can see that it's the project team is going and going over the finishing line. That's what it's all about. So first of all, I would like to congratulate you, all of you guys, for doing a good job by listening to my videos. I could very well understand if it's boring or something, but I tried my best to make sure you understand the topic, and I try to build your concepts, to be honest. So okay, let's talk about this process. Close project or phase, something which says that officially you are closing the project, or sometimes closing and officially terminating the project as well. Very important process. I'm talking about around, I would say, around 15 questions approximately. Why I'm saying that? Because around 7 to 8% of questions comes from the close project, from the closing process group, and there is only one process in the closing process group, which is close project or phase. In PMBOK 5, we used to have close procurements, but the task which was supposed to be done in close procurement are now actually taken care by this process, which is close project, or it is actually, some of them actually went to control procurements, like you do some of the tasks there as well. But so you guys, an important one, 10-15 questions is not less, and pretty interesting one as well. Okay, let's see what it is. So it's the process that properly shuts down all project or phase processes, ensuring that the necessary documentation is created and archived. You want to make sure that whatever lessons learned you documented whole through your project is used by other teams, is used by your future project managers as well, right? So this is where you do that. Okay, and it's not just about, I would say, the lessons learned. It's actually about everything. All the entire documentations, whatever you have created, would actually, go ahead and be part of the OPA. So at this time, first of all, no more change requests. No. If the customer asks you at this stage that I want this, no. I would definitely recommend that you should not do any change requests at that time. Okay. Now, but there is one issue over here. But if you see, if the customer feels that you did not follow or you did not complete the requirements, and you did the preliminary analysis and you found out that yes, you did not, then you might have to do the change request at that time. But this is just the only exception over here. Okay, let's see what are the exception outcomes. Though the project or phase isn't complete until this process is complete, the close project or phase process should be targeted early in the project or phase to plan for the success. How you will close the project, that's very important, and it's actually targeted early in the project, and all this information that how you will close, that will eventually become a part of the project management plan. So again, you want things to go as per your plan. You want to do each and everything in a timely manner, in a proper process, with proper process. So this, if you have to close the project, if you have to terminate the project, make sure you're doing it right. Priorities, this is always the last process to be completed. Like after this, there's nothing. Okay. Empowers, document lessons learned to help prevent future project or phases from the similar mistakes. So whatever mistake I have done in my project, I don't want you guys to commit the same mistake, right? And I'm assuming you are in the same boat. You don't want the same thing happen to your colleagues as well, right? So again, you will definitely document the lessons learned and make sure that whatever mistakes or whatever good things you have learned from this project, your colleagues might learn from you on that. Okay, so before I go into the ITTOs, this is similar to perform integrated change control. We have a well-defined process and steps for this as well. Very important. It's actually, I created this from the PMBOK 6th edition only. Just make sure that you're reading those bullet points in the PMBOK. Very important. Okay. So first, you start with the project review. You start with the project review, where you review the project management plan to ensure that all project work is completed. So first of all, you review it. Okay, you want to make sure that everything, whatever was asked, you did it. making sure that the delivery and formal acceptance of deliverables by the customer. So you are making sure that the customer has actually formally accepted. So the formal acceptance is not done in this process. I'm not saying that. That is actually done in the validate scope process, where where we would be discussing in scope management knowledge area. But in this one, you are making sure that that has been done. Okay, ensuring all costs are charged to the project. So again, any invoices, anything, whatever it is, you are making sure that all costs are charged to the project. Okay, and there are some more administrative closure procedures. Just so, but that is actually mentioned in the PMBOK. I just took the top three, I would say. Then after the project review, what you do is, you finalize the contractual agreement. You make sure that the deliverable and performance of the seller work, the seller did the right thing, whatever was asked out of him, what was expected out of him, he or she did the same thing. If there are any open claims, make sure you resolve it. If the claim is not resolved at this stage, then you might have to take care of alternative dispute resolution techniques, which is further divided into mediation, litigation, and arbitration. Then once the everything, the claims and everything is done, then the next thing you do is the update. You identify the lessons learned. You talk to the team. You identify the lessons learned. You archive any information. So basically, what you are doing, you are talking about all the documentation, making sure that the future projects have no issues. If they want to review some artifact from your project, they can easily do so. And updating the final project report as per the organization policy. So like, what all things would be part of the final report. And if you remember, this final report was actually an input to some of the previous processes, and you can see why it is, because it has all the information, it has important information, and you actually document the lessons learned from this final report as well. Final transition, transfer the project, product, service, or result, collecting any improvement points. You will talk to the team, and you talk to the stakeholders, try to gather some improvement points. Okay, releasing the resources and reallocating the project facility. So releasing the resources, that's an important one. You release the resources, you make sure that the resources are released. And finally, you will measure the stakeholder satisfaction. Were they satisfied? Were they not satisfied? If not, why? What were the reasons? Okay, so ITTOs is something which is, I would say, of course, it's important for each and every process, it's important, but understanding the concept is more important. So whatever I described you in the previous process, in the previous slide about the process of closing, that's very important. Understand, start and stop, play it, 1,000 times, but make sure you document, you write down your the notes, like cheat notes, whatever. I'm telling you guys, if you're making your self notes, then that will definitely help you, because ultimately you don't want to watch this video again at the end stage. Of course, if you want to, I'm nobody to say that, but you don't have time to spend another 15-20 minutes or 30 minutes. At that time, you just want to flip the pages, you want to just go over the important points and just get it done with. That's why your notes are pretty important. Okay, let's see what are the inputs. So we have the project charter. Project charter talks about your project success. What are the criterias which will make your project success? So if you are in the closed project or phase, you want to know those criteria, like the success criteria. So that's why you will see the project charter as an input. Project management plan, all the components would definitely be the input. You need those to make sure you're doing the right thing. Project documents, many project documents. I'll talk about that in the next slide. Business document, business case, and the benefits management plan. The business case, I hope you remember when we discussed the project charter process. It was all about the project objectives, organization strategic goals, and whether my project is a success. What is a go decision. All those were part of the business case. As far as benefits management plan is concerned, it was all about benefits, like how the benefits will be defined, what is the how to measure those benefits, all those were part of benefits measurement plan. Accepted deliverables. Why accepted deliverable is an input? Because you want to give it to the customer, right? So once you have that formal acceptance, the final transition would be done from this. So that's why you have the accepted deliverables. You also have the agreements in place. So agreements is if you're dealing with a contractor or a seller, there is some kind of agreement, and if there are any issues or any concerns, how you will deal with it, that is actually mentioned in the agreement. So before you close the project, you want to close all the open invoices or any other concerns which the contractor might have. So that is actually part of the agreements. Then procurement documentation. Procurement documentation is a pretty vast term, I would say. A lot of things are part of the procurement documentation, which we will be discussing in the procurement management. But you could very well understand, when you close the project, you want to make sure that everything related to procurement is also closed. So that's why it is here. And of course, you will have the common input, which is the OPA. Okay. Let's see the business document, which we did not discuss. So on the business document, if you see, we have the assumption log. So we have the assumption log, then we have the basis of estimate, change log, issue log, lessons learned, register, milestone list, project communication, quality control measurement, quality reports, requirement documentation, risk register, risk report, almost like everything. All of those things are part of project documents, because before you close it, you need everything, right? You want to make sure that you are properly closing the project in terms of all the different variables. Okay. Then of course you will have the accepted deliverables, because accepted deliverables, you are actually going out and doing the final transition. OP updates we already discussed, agreements also we discussed, procurement documentation we will discuss. Trust me, we'll discuss this in much more detail in the procurement management. As far as the business documents, project charter, the success measure, the go no go decision, all those are part of the charter and the business document. So you have both those information as well as an input. Okay, so let's see what are the different tools and techniques which we can use, to close the project. As always, expert judgment is always there. You'll see this expert judgment as an important tool over here. Data analysis, we have the document analysis, regression analysis, trend analysis, and the variance analysis. So document analysis, we would be discussing this in scope management knowledge area. Stay tuned, but I can just give you a brief overview. It's all about documenting. It's all about documenting, making sure that, based upon the documentation, you may come up with some important points, like what are the final closure things and things like that. Regression analysis, I would talk about this in much more detail in the quality management knowledge area. But just to give you a brief overview about what regression analysis, it's about the interrelationship between the different project variables. Those project variables could be, I would say, independent or dependent variables, and we'll talk later about this. Trend analysis, I already gave you the example of the stock market, the volatile stock market. That's a biggest example of trend analysis. So that is also used here. Variance analysis, comparison of planned versus. So before you finalize the open claim, there could be some kind of variance. So before you close it, you want to close each and everything. You want to follow the right process. You want to do the right thing as well. So you also have the variance analysis as a part of it. Then you have the meetings. We all know what meetings are. Doing the final report. You want to make the final report. You want to document the lessons learned. You will definitely do the meetings for that. Okay, so let's see what are the different outputs we have. So we have the final product, service, or result transition, which is I would say, the key output of this process. You will finally hand it over everything to the customer, or probably a different team who is actually maintaining this software what you created for them. So that's the final product, service, or the transition. So let's go back to our car example. So the day let's say I wanted to make a customized car. So I came up with all the features. I told them, this is all of the requirements which I need. And the time I actually, they were actually getting me approvals, they were showing me the prototypes and all those things, they were doing it. But now is the time when they actually gave it to me. So once I got the deliverables, once it went through the internal quality checks, then I also proved it, I also checked it, and but the time when I actually got it, that is my final product, service, or result transition. Okay. Then I will also have the final report. I'll make sure that it will have the summary level description. It will have your scope, cost, quality, risk, schedule objectives, validation for final product, and finally the product, whether the product met the business objectives or not. Because this is why I really did the project, right? When I did the project charter process, I asked you one question: why I'm doing this? Why are you guys doing PMP? There is a reason, right? Did this integration management knowledge area met your expectation? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, so that's why we did it. So why piece is very important, which is actually part of the final report. Then of course you will have the OP updates. That lessons learned register is actually and all you are actually archiving all the important documents and everything. That's going part of the OP updates. And then you have the document updates, project documents, some operational, some support documents, like some closure document. All those are actually part of the document updates. Okay, so let's do a quick revision. So, focus your efforts on understanding the primary output, which is the final product, result, or service transition. Focus on the day when you're getting your customized car, what you actually waited for, what you actually dreamed of, whatever requirements you gave. They came up with that model. So that's this is where you are getting. Just focus on that mainly. Know that the lessons learned register will be updated and stored for future projects. I have been saying this again and again, hold through your integration management knowledge area, that your lessons learned register will be updated. And why do you do that? You want to help your colleagues. You want to make sure that whatever mistakes you did, your colleagues are not making, or whatever good things you did in the project, you want them to learn from it. So that would be done. Then know that the organization resources will be released to pursue the new endeavors. And once the work is done, it's your job as a project manager to release them, so that they can go and look for other opportunities, other projects, so that their time is properly utilized. This is the only process in the closing process group. So this was actually not the case in PMBOK 5th edition. We had two processes, closed procurements and the closed project. But most of the things which were done in closed procurements are actually now being done in the closed project phase. Okay, so this marks the completion of your last process, which was the closed project or phase. But my humble request, I'm pretty sure you guys have learned something, if not much. But if you have learned something, I really want you guys to apply that knowledge by giving the test. So unless you give the test, I can't really understand, or I won't really know whether you did a good job or not. And you yourself can't gauge it. If you think that you did a good job, you got the good concepts, then here is like a small kind of study plan. Of course, you can send me email. I can draft a detailed study plan with deadlines and dates, and after talking to you, like by the amount of time, like for example, if you can take a 2 to 3 hours on a weekday and more hours on a weekend, I can probably create a study plan for you. So of course, just reach out to me. My email address. It's varun.anand@eduhubspot.com. I repeat, it's varun.anand, my first name dot last name. It's varun.anand@eduhubspot.com. Of course, just go to the website, and under the simulator page, you will get the practice questions. Make sure you try that out. And if you don't have time to carry your laptop and you prefer your iPad or tablets, you can download our app over your phone. You're traveling most of the time, you can listen to these videos while you're traveling, or you can actually practice on our app as well. So stay tuned for that, and of course, if you have any questions, your friend Varun is always there for you. Thanks for watching, and please, the humble request was all about making sure that you do the test, but this is actually for me and my organization. I would really appreciate if if you're watching this on a YouTube or Udemy or through our website, just please like us and just share with your friends so that all other people can actually help, and of course it would eventually help us also. Write a comment or a review on the page, and this will actually help in the search engine optimizations and our app or website, and it really grows. So thank you guys, thanks for your time. I really appreciate. We'll talk next in the scope management knowledge area.